Yeah, hey guys. I hope you can hear me. Just want a few messages in case it's done. Hi Prasad. Nice to see you here. Yeah, I'll just wait for a couple of minutes and you can start answering questions, whatever you guys want. I'll be answering to the best I can. But the main idea of today has been a little bit about how you should go about finance, what you should be studying, what you should be putting on your CV, how you can enhance your course, how you can enhance your knowledge. Any kind of information that you want for this, please feel free to ask. I'm here to answer whatever you want. So and sorry for starting a little late. Apologies for that, but setting up Zoom for a while took a little more time than usual to do it today. But yeah, if anything, please let me know. Whatever questions you guys have, it can be CET related, it can be related to finance, whatever you want. But let's just go for any kind of questions. Just to hi Hemant and thanks SG. Big fan, me too. But just wanted to set the stage a little bit. When it comes to MBA finance, there are lots of different roles that you're looking at. You can start off with companies like JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley. These are usually the investment banking companies. They also have different roles that are doing similar things. So you'll have credit roles, you'll have payments roles. You'll be making models for the risk for risk assessment. You'll be making. There's another role known as CCBSI. You'll be working in the payments group. There are lots of different things within JP Morgan or Morgan Stanley, etc., where you can be working. Apart from that, you have other completely different roles, like which come mainly in corporate finance. In corporate finance, you'll be looking at HUL, PepsiCo, Dabur, etc., or even Colgate. And these companies usually are looking more for more technical finance. You'll be looking at more just corporate finance valuation part of it, where you are thinking of which project to invest in, where you want to put your money, etc. Apart from that, you are looking at equity roles. Equity research would be your Axis Bank, HDFC, these equity houses in India, brokerage houses rather in India, where you understand a lot of things related to the market. You are working on valuation and equities. When it comes to investment banking and credit and all these things, you are working more on aspects of what you want to do. You are either being a deal maker, where you are connecting two companies, which is what investment banks do, or you'll be working on the credit side of things, where you are giving companies credit. So this can either be credit from your end, which is what credit roles do, or you'll be thinking about how you should bring credit to another company. So for example, if a startup comes to you and says, I want XYZ amount of money, you will be working on getting that to them. That is what you'll be doing in the credit roles. So investment banking is usually to the equity side, but they also have a credit role, which is what the credit does. So that is how the entire thing works. Apart from this, you will have roles in production, product management, etc. But these are more related. This is not as much finance. You won't need much finance. It's just a general MBA role and marketing. This is the overall field of depth finance and other kind of roles, obviously consulting as well. But this is what the roles are like. Now, what is the difference between these? How do you decide between different kind of roles, or how do you decide between what you want to do? Firstly, it depends on what your work-life balance is, how you want to go about it. Investment banking and roles in JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, they are known to have long working hours. They need a lot of work. You put in a lot of effort, but at the same time, you get rewarded equally. You have a prestigious role. So people, when you say that you work in JP Morgan or you intern in JP Morgan, it automatically, everyone is always like, wow, that's great. It leaves a good mark with people. It's the same, obviously, if you'll be doing in a good FMCG role as well. But when it comes to these roles, especially JP Morgan, Goldman, and such, you are one of those people who you usually look at 2 to 3 years. You're thinking 2 to 3 years and then jumping to other things. The usual path for this is doing investment banking or something in finance, moving to private equity, moving to venture capital. That's how it works. In fact, private equity and venture capital reminds me, in many colleges, in the top IIMs, etc., there are private equity firms that come. This is usually only in Ahmedabad and Bangalore, even Calcutta to an extent, but usually only the toppers of these batches go into the private equity and venture capital funds directly after an MBA. So I have a friend, Warren Remedios. He's directly going into, he's working at Blackstone right now. And he was CET rank 10, in fact. So he's a great friend, and yeah. So he's currently in Blackstone, and that is something that he got directly on campus. But this is not an opportunity everyone gets. He's the only person from IIM Bangalore to convert Blackstone. These are very rare opportunities, but these are dream shots. Like these are, if you think JP Morgan or PwC or the top 4 company, or McKinsey is a dream shot, Blackstone is levels above this. So Blackstone is one of those companies which has a team of around 30 to 40 people all over India, and it's crazy how it works. But those are the jobs that you usually try for. Lots of companies don't get it, and obviously even the main colleges don't have that many roles. So the usual route is to go through these companies, work for a couple of years, then try switching out to all the other companies. When it comes to venture capital, private equity, you have other companies like Kalari, Sequoia, Tiger Global. You'll have a lot of these companies in India. They have smaller houses in India where they work. And in this, they are hiring lots of people from MBAs. They also take non-MBAs. They usually take CAs as well. And that's how the entire thing works. So when it comes to these things, you are looking at a shorter longevity. You are working higher paced, but at the same time, you are working in a more prestigious position. And what knowledge would be required here? When it comes to interviews, they're expect you to know everything. They might ask you corporate finance, they might ask you statistics, they might ask you what kind of, they might ask you proper risk consulting. They'll ask you a lot of things that you might not know through a traditional MBA that you need to learn yourself. They might ask you different formulas that you know, etc. But when it comes to actually doing something in your job, in IB, you're usually doing valuation, you're usually working on that part of it. But when it comes to corporate finance, you're working more on the projects. You'll be working on NPVs, IRRs, net present value, and internal rate of return. These are the terms that you should be familiar with by now. Or what project you should be deciding, how much time you'd be getting the money back in, that's payback period. You'll be looking at discount rates, etc. This is what you'll be doing more in corporate finance. And there is a higher level of technical curiosity that you require when it comes to corporate finance roles. But you need to keep in mind that when you are looking at these roles, you're looking at a much longer role. So usually if someone joins P&G or someone joins HUL at this current stage, usually think of them as people who are going to work there for 10 to 15 years, or maybe even retire in the firm. That's how it usually goes. That's not how it always is. But when it comes to jumping, while there are people who do it, it is considerably lesser compared to what it is here. So this is how we kind of think about the different roles. I just wanted to give a short preface before the entire thing, before we start off the questions. But apart from this, a couple of examples that I'd like to give. When I said that people in corporate finance look to retire, the best example over here is Neville Noronha. He's the CEO of DMart, and he's a student from NMIMS. He worked in HUL for a while. And then Radhakrishnan Damani picked him up from NMIMS, from HUL, put him into DMart. Now he's a CEO and he's constantly working on the corporate finance side, but he's also taken complete, he's a CEO. So he's doing everything that DMart does. Like, he's not a CFO. He's a complete head of the organization. That's how that works. But people tend to go in that way. And you are always considering work-life balance versus what are your outs? What are the different chances that you get after leaving it? Let's say you work for 2 years. You want to go out, let's say you work for 1 year, you want to switch a job after that, which is the best method to do it. That's kind of what you're trying to think here. And when it comes to things, when it comes to other roles also, you're considering these things. Pay scale is usually not something that you consider a lot, because many times companies, for example, if you take Amazon or other companies like that, big companies, they show a much higher package, but then they have a lot of money in ESOPs, so you don't get a lot of the money. Whereas in other companies, you get a lot of fixed components. So do not look at a company's CTC or how much the cost of the company is, because that is extremely. I mean, you can play around with it. So the idea would be to not look at CTCs, look at what the role is and what you would want to do in life, right? So if you have any questions related to what I have said so far, if you want me to elaborate on anything so far, please feel free to put it in the comments. Another thing I want to add, when it comes to companies like JP Morgan, since I've interned over there, I would like to add that the IB team usually looks for people with knowledge. Any team looks for people with a lot of knowledge. So you are looking for CFA-based knowledge, or you're looking for proper finance. Proper finance will either be CFA levels or it comes through a CA. So I have a friend who worked in JP Morgan London for 2 years, and he was actually working in India. Then he was shifted to London in a year, and he was a CA. He was an All India ranked CA, and that's how they select people. So either it's the All India ranking CAs that they select, or they take people from MBAs, which is where a lot of people from JB have been selected this year. JP Morgan is a consistent recruiter at JBIMS, and you'll be seeing a lot of them. Like I myself interned there during summers last year, like exactly a year ago. In fact, I was interning there, and yeah, you'll see on our LinkedIn profile also where we've been placed so far, and we'll be announcing everything soon. But that's how finance works at JBIMS. And when it comes to JB, one thing that I'd like to add here is that since you are fighting against, when I say fighting, it's not really a fight. Everyone's kind of working on this together and trying to get the best for each other. But when it comes to, when I say fighting, I'm just saying that there are X amount of roles and Y amount of students who are in the pool for that. The advantage you have at JBIMS is that not everyone knows finance that much, because people come from engineering backgrounds. A lot of them are engineers. There is diversity. There are a lot of CAs. This year we have 2 CAs. In the junior batch also, there are a couple of CAs. Lots of people who know finance beforehand. Lots of CFAs also who are coming through, but it's a smaller proportion. So if you yourself know finance and if you're able to showcase it on your CV, you automatically get a huge leg up compared to your competition. And I think that's one place where I also got an advantage and go through summers at JP Morgan as well. And if you want to see what exactly I've done, I suggest going to my LinkedIn profile. I have put everything over there. You'll find literally my entire CV there. I've even included the projects that I worked on in the particular internships and what all I was working on at that point of time. So if you have any questions related to that, or if you want to see what your CV should be looking like after a point of time, please feel free to check my LinkedIn profile. I'll add that to the chat. I haven't read any messages in the chat, so please just add whatever questions you have. What else should I be covering here? Yeah, when it comes to knowledge, again, CV, just think of it as 2 things, right? One is knowledge and one is your CV. You can enhance knowledge while you're enhancing your CV, but sometimes it's only knowledge enhancements. If you're reading blogs or if you're reading books, etc., you can't really write that on your CV, right? You can't really write that you've read a book on your CV, but you can add something like a certification that you've done or a CFA that you've done. So there's a fine line between the two. And the idea here is to keep in mind what is going to help you where. When I had my JP Morgan interviews for summers, we had gone through 5 rounds, and these were thorough rounds. These were very thorough rounds where they kept checking whether what I'm saying makes sense, or if I actually have a technical curiosity or leaning towards finance. It is not only CV that matters. The other person in JP Morgan with me was Natasha. She was a CA and she had WorkX as a CA. So I had to compete against others who had. In fact, when I interned at JP Morgan, I had not even cleared CFA L1. So what you see on my LinkedIn profile, except for the CFA L1, is what I had back then. This is something, CFA L1 is what I did after my internship. So my exam was after my internship, and my internship helped prepare for the exam as well. So that's how it works. But I didn't have a CFA L1, so I was competing against people with CFA L1s, L2s. There were people who had, in fact, I think that there are a couple of them who even cleared L3. So there's a huge amount of gap. Plus, there are CAs who they are looking for. So you have to fight against a lot of people for these roles. And the only way you can do that, the only way you can get through 5 rounds of such high level technical questions is if you know your finance properly. So when I say that you need to know finance, when you need to do finance, it's not only certifications. Because trust me, I've seen juniors, CVs, I've seen people who've been through the pandemic. In fact, even the TTP students who are with us right now, I've seen a lot of their CVs and they're full of certifications. And the idea here is that if you have certifications, they cannot question you too much. Like, let's say you have something in corporate finance, they can ask you a few questions. But if you've done a project in corporate finance, they can ask you what your analysis was, what exactly you got out of it, how you went about the entire preparation, and what your focus area was, and everything that you've done in the project. So a project or an internship is always a lot better than a line on your CV saying a certification. But it's knowledge over everything. Like, knowledge will always help you. If you have the knowledge, you can very easily add certifications, because if you know the knowledge, you can skim through certifications very easily, right? So if you have any questions so far, please feel free to drop them. I'll go through them now. So just give me a sec. I'll go through them currently. Yeah. Firstly, hi Palak. nice to see you here. Palak is a friend from undergrad. It's surprising she's here, but nice to see you. She's a pretty close friend, that is. So really good stuff. Hi Palak. Yeah, so Hemant, I'm a science student. Can I pursue MBA in finance? Yes, Hemant, you can definitely do that. I myself am a science student. I've done my engineering. I've done computer science engineering, in fact, and I have done MBA finance as well. So it doesn't matter what you've done previously. What matters is, again, what knowledge you're bringing to the table and how you can help the organization currently with the efforts that you have and with the knowledge that you have. That's the idea here. So you need to focus on that more than what your education background is. While an education background otherwise would help, just keep these things in mind. I go through JP Morgan summers, and a lot of people who had education background, you need to beat them to get through. So you need to keep that in mind, that it's not just the one thing that matters. So that's that. And there are lots of people who, in fact, science is. I feel so many engineers who take MBA finance. If you see our profiles, you find a lot of engineers in MBA finance. Not that if you've done engineering, you have to do MBA finance. There are lots of people in marketing. Vidhan, Shreekanth are engineers who are doing marketing. Ankit, Harsh, Aditya, and I are engineers who are doing finance. That's how that works. And there are so many examples in this slide. I'll just go through the questions. Yeah. Nishita, does CFA help? CFA is a great help. CFA, without a doubt, is a big, it makes a big difference, because what happens is, if supposing you are in a pool of students who don't have financial experience, who don't have internships or some things to add to that CV, a CFA is like a global certification that people need to prepare for. Again, in that, L2 is a lot more consequential than L1. But at least if you have L1, that is something rather than not having L1. So CFA would definitely help. If you have it, then great. If you don't have it and you consider doing it, then please consider doing it. It does make a difference. But again, you need to keep in mind, I got JP Morgan without having a CFA. So it is not only CFA, but it does enhance your knowledge. It does enhance what you do. I would like to make a side note here. While I did not have a CFA degree, I did not have a CFA certification at that point of time, I did have the knowledge. I'd done around 40% of the CFA syllabus when the internship was going on, when the interviews were going on. So as I mentioned earlier, knowledge, not only certification. So keep that one thing in mind. I'll just add my LinkedIn profile to the chat so you can check it anytime. Just give me a sec. Just checking if I've entered the right one. There's another Anay Dave on LinkedIn who has Anay Dave and not Anay Dave 98. And he's working at McKinsey right now. So I tend to get confused sometimes as to which one I've said. He and I keep interchanging who has 98 and who doesn't. So it's a little confusing that way. Ritik, I'm a computer science grad, but have interest in finance towards the equity side, planning to do NISM. Yeah. NISM is great. I think it's a good amount. It has a lot of courses that you can do, and there are a lot of certifications there for equity, a lot of certifications for different things. I mean, it's NSE in the end, so it's related to equities in the end, so it's pretty good. But when it comes to CFA versus NISM, CFA wins, but obviously you're putting a lot more time investment, and there's a huge amount of money investment also that you need to do in NISM in CFA. So keep that one thing in mind. CFA, if you want a timeline, I had studied, honestly, don't take my advice for CFA because I finished around 50% of the portion in the last month. And that happened because of poor planning and a very hectic internship at JP Morgan, which actually helped me complete the syllabus, but also reduced my time a lot. Funny thing about this was that I thought I had 8 weeks to work on my internship, So my internship was 8 weeks long, and I'd asked my senior how busy would I be. They had mentioned that weekends would be free. But from the start of the internship till the end of the internship, I had 2 days free where I could study CFA. Rest every other day I was working on either what JP Morgan had told me, or if supposing even if I had a break, I would obviously not be doing finance at that time because I want a break from finance, right? So I'd want something, but the culture in JP Morgan was great. So I did not really need to think about, taking some other gap. That's why I was always going back to CFA, but there were only 2 days where I studied CFA. And I could have done a lot more in that particular amount of time. But so when it comes to CFA, the ideal thing would be 6 months. You can do it in 4. If you're willing to do it hard, you can do it in 3. If you work really hard, you can do it in 3 as well. But the idea here is to be efficient because you want to learn. If I ask you a question right now, I would want you to answer it correctly, and I would want you to answer it properly with understanding, not just an overhanded answer about what, just using terms and answering it. I want a proper defined answer with the words that you use, meaning what they should actually mean. So to do that, you need to definitely make sure that your CFA knowledge is well done. I think that makes a very big difference here. That's that. So that's the thing for CFA. And I saw a couple of questions about CFA classes, and I did not take any CFA classes. I'd done it myself. I studied the entire syllabus myself. I'd used Schweser books. So if you Google SCHWESER, Schweser, and these are Kaplan, Kaplan, Kaplan books. You'll find these anywhere. They're pretty easy to find. I'd use that. And I'd use free content of IFT on YouTube. So for L1, you have free videos for all the entire syllabus. So you'd use that along with Schweser books. And the importance over here is to focus on how you solve answers. The thing in CFA is that there are every year, I'm not sure how many questions are there. I did not care about that. You have a lot more time. You have around 2 to 3 minutes per question, but there are only 3 options, right? You have only 3 options, A, B, or C. You can very easily eliminate 2. You can very easily eliminate 1 at least. The second one also can be done by smart guessing. So even if you don't know something, you can get marks. And the idea of your syllabus also has to be, firstly, to understand each and every line that they've written in the book. You need to know every concept. And secondly, once you're at the end of your preparation, you want to be able to answer questions fast. You want to be able to finish as soon as possible. You want to be able to not guess, but figure out which is the correct answer as soon as possible. So you have to do that using these methods. And that is what your focus should shift on towards the last one. So if anyone currently is working for CFA, firstly, I'd love to know who you are. So if you can leave that in the chat, it'll be great. And which level you're taking and how the prep is going so far. I can help you out with certain topics also if you'd like. But the main idea here is that the last month should be mock taking and question strategizing. You need to strategize questions. And a correlation to this in CET would be, if you've heard me in live mentoring sessions or other live sessions, it's always been 1 month of hard CET syllabus prep. And then months after that has to be mock taking. Because if you take a good amount of mocks, you know how to analyze CET, you know how to take control of the CET paper rather than letting the CET paper control you. It's the same with CFA. It's the same logic that you use. And in fact, it's the same logic that I used for CAT when I took it and scored 99.86 in that. So it's the same thing all over. You have to take control of the paper and make sure you solve it as fast as you can and the best effort you can. So any questions, please leave them in the comments. I'd love to answer. I'll just go through more things. Vidhan is answering a lot of questions here. Says, hi, Vidhan. Nice to see you here. Nice to see the blue badge as well. Good stuff. But yeah, I think Vidhan's answering the CET related questions and I'm taking the finance ones. But if anything, please feel free to answer. Feel free to ask questions. Vidhan has a lot of information marketing and he'll be taking this. Vidhan had interned in PepsiCo and he'd done a great job there. So if any, we'll be taking a lot of these sessions so far. So stay tuned to our channel. And currently we're doing this because it's not only CET prep that we want you to focus on. CET prep gets boring after a point, gets monotonous. And while we can give you motivation to study CET, sometimes you need motivation to do other things apart from CET, which include figuring out what you want to do with your life. And that's what today's session is about as well. Let's go through a few more questions. Ravindra, hello sir, I'm a BBA grad, fresher finance specialization. Studying full-time for CET, planning for CFA L1, Feb end. It'll definitely help you in JB. I won't have the stats for how many exactly CFAs are there in JB, but there are lesser, it'll be a smaller percentage of the batch at JB compared to the people who don't have L1 as well. So you definitely should do L1. If you can, by the time JB starts, you might be able to do L2 as well for all you know. So if you're willing to put in the effort, go for it. It makes sense. It makes a difference. Shubham Deora was one of our close friends who has L2 as well. And he had done this before he joined JBIMS, and it did make a difference in his placements as well. So please go for it. He knows finance really nicely. It's again 2 things, right? Placements and knowledge. In fact, it helps us a lot in the syllabus in JBIMS as well, because you already know the teachers are teaching. You'll have a much more refined conversation with them. When there's a professor named Professor Fakki, he's known as a valuation god in JBIMS and we treat him like one. And when he teaches stuff, you have a different conversation with him directly. There's a Professor Menezes who teaches us economics for 2 semesters in Sem 1 and Sem 2. The minute you know economics the minute you've studied economics, you automatically have a much better conversation with them. And these are the type of professors who want an intellectual discussion. They're not the ones who just say something and want you to believe it. They want you to ask why a certain thing exists. They'll ask you those questions that make you want to think. And you cannot think like that You can think like that, but it's easier if you know the stuff that they're talking about beforehand. And in the classes, I remember the ones who used to talk in the classes were Shubham Deora, Sunil, me, like all of us. We used to ask questions or to managers or lots of us. Like the list goes on. Harsh used to ask so many questions. Aditya, we all used to constantly keep asking questions because we wanted to know more and more about how he teaches and wanted to get to the bottom of things, right? And the idea here is that if you have the knowledge beforehand, you will gain things forward. And everyone who I've mentioned was either studying for CFA or has cleared CFA alumni. So that's the idea, right? I just want to make it clear why knowledge helps. It's not only placements, it's also learning from professors. And we have a couple of videos coming out, which Harsh has made actually about life at JBIMS, and he explains this a lot and further about committees, about how the culture is at JB, how a lot of these things work. And that's a very exciting video. Please stay tuned for that, tune for that, because when I saw the video, it's already recorded. We are just waiting to release it in a couple of days. When I saw the video, I was like, damn, he's done a really great job. Full kudos to him. He's done a really, really good job with that video. So stay tuned for that. It's a really nicely done video. Again, going through the questions, but pursuing marketing correct currently. Still fun as knowledge bank. Thank you, sir. That's good to hear. And I actually do suggest even people who want to do marketing, it's good if they also are here, because not only is TTP completely diversified, like we are in consulting, marketing, finance, everything. And in finance also, we have corporate finance and IB, credit finance. So it's completely in the entire space. But at the same time, you as an individual should know what the other aspects are, because if you are deciding finance, you need to know what marketing is like. If you are deciding marketing, you need to know what finance is like. So great work, Suyog. In fact, kudos to you for being here. It's it's good that you're here. That's great. Hi, Vidisha. Nice to see you here as well. Any specific finance-related softwares? When it comes to softwares, so in JP Morgan, when we were interning, we had proprietary software that we were using. And this was, we were using a virtual machine at that point of time because it was work from home. We didn't go to office. I've not seen offices yet, but we were working from home. We had the entire virtual desktop set up and we were using what they were giving. So they have a thing known as Morgan Markets that they teach you to use. They'll show you how to go about it. They'll tell you how it is done. When it comes to pure finance roles, you don't need tech. You don't need software as such. You'll use Excel. Excel is a prerequisite for almost all roles. When it comes to marketing, consulting, and PPT. Like, it doesn't matter. You will be making PPTs for a while, but the idea is that don't shame the use of PPTs. Everyone's making PPTs. That's what you'll be doing if you're at a VC, private equity also. Just enjoy the learning that you're getting and enjoy the people you're with. That's the idea here. When you're working at JP Morgan, when you're working at these, even Blackstone, for example, you're working with a top tier group of people who, like, for example, the team I was with was North America Tech Media Telecom. And my mentor was his name is Zachary Kwan. If you look him up on LinkedIn, you'll find a lot of things that he's done as well. He's been working in JP Morgan for the past 7 years, and he's a vice president. He's 28. For context, I'm 23 currently. He's 28, and he's a VP already. So speaking with him and constantly working with him was a huge learning. It's like working or being around these guys, you learn a lot more than what you would otherwise. And for reference, I'd asked Warren this a couple of days ago about what the people at Blackstone are like, and it's the same answer. It's just, they're all the top tier guys, right? It's all people who work. In fact, at Blackstone, you'll find people who are from Stanford, Wharton. They've done MBAs, they've done that, and they've come back to India, or they'll be based abroad as well. You'll be working one-on-one with them because it's a very small team. And in JP Morgan as well, I was working with a team of 7, or that 2 are from India, 5 are from New York, Texas, and I think Chicago. So that's how it is all done. And you work with such people. Natasha is working with Europe, Middle East, and Asia, in Africa. Europe, Middle East, and Africa, that's known as the EMEA group. And it's a different, she was working on consumer healthcare and I think retail. So the experience, even if everyone's making PPTs and making Excel models, it's fine. You are learning so much while making those. You're learning so much about companies outside, about how culture works outside, how people are outside, that it's worth the effort that you put in. If anyone wants to joke about making Excel sheets and PPTs, it's perfectly fine. It's over glorified that way, but it is 100% worth the effort. But that is only if you take it in that way, right? You don't have to think of it in just a way that, oh, this is how it is. It's actually hard work that you put in and you enjoy the work. And I think everyone who I know would attest to this, that if you are keen on finance, if you're keen on doing these things, you enjoy the process. It's not about just that part. If you have a good culture, you'll enjoy the work. Sorry, that was a long rant on other things apart from softwares. But I think Harsh can answer this really nicely because he had done Tableau as well. And my girlfriend Asika, she has done a lot more software. She's done R. Like this is something that she's doing in business analytics. But if you want to know what to do in tech along with finance, these things usually help a lot. You will be doing many statistical models. You'll be making many models in finance as well. These things matter a lot. Something like a language R or Python, this helps a lot. You'll be making models, you'll be testing models. There are lots of things that you can do. So if you already have computer science knowledge, finance is a great place to be. One of my close friends from undergrad is in NYU currently. He's doing financial risk engineering and he's learning from Nassim Taleb and Ashwath Damodaran. It's directly tech related. It's direct hardcore finance related. Look it up, financial risk engineering at NYU. The syllabus over there is also something that'll help a lot. So these things you should definitely keep in mind and work on for now. So that's about that. I'll go through a couple more questions. Just give me a sec. And just one more thing, if you want to know more about tech and finance, I think I can make a video on that. I can in fact ask others who know more about this to come onto the channel and help. I have way too many people who are outside abroad studying or currently in jobs that are completely related to tech finance and all these things. So in case you guys are interested in it, please drop a comment and let me know how I can help you. I have a huge number of people who are doing this. As I mentioned, very close friends of mine and people I know are doing this. Just give me a sec, please. Just drop in any question that you have. And in case you're watching this after the live is aired, feel free to add it in the comments. We are here to help even after that. We've answered all questions there. So Sunny, your question has been answered by Vidhan. Would a 3 years experience in a PO bank as a bank PO be useful in investment banking after MBA? See, when it comes to investment banking, the typical things that I have seen, the people who I see hired are either, as I said, all India rankers in CA or MBA finances, MBA grads in finance. And while it does help, your knowledge helps more. And to attest to this, I would like to like to mention Pramendra Jha. If you've seen his interview on our channel, I'm sure you remember who he is. He's not a face you forget. He's one of our favorites in JBIMS. He's one of the nicest guys at JB, and he's one of the most fun people to be around and to party with. It's crazy. And he's currently working in investment banking. So he's one person who, I could definitely attest that it has helped him get a job and has helped him gain knowledge in that as well. So look up his profile on LinkedIn, Pramendra Jha. And if you've not watched his YouTube video, his interview with us, please watch it. If you're preparing for CET and you've not watched Pramendra Jha, that is the first video you need to watch. So I think one of our top viewed interviews as well. So just go to our channel, search for Pramendra Jha, just watch it. It's amazing. You'll get a huge boost in motivation. It'll skyrocket after that. Just watch it. In fact, you know what? I'll just send the link as I answer another question because this is definitely worth watching. Like I wouldn't want you to miss this video for anything at all. It's definitely worth watching. Palak saw a comment again. Thank you. Very sweet of you. Aman, my mock speed is very low. What to do? It's a little deviate. I know I'd mentioned CET, but I prefer answering finance questions, so I kept going on to that. But when it comes to CET mocks, firstly, again, you're looking at two things, knowledge and how to solve it faster. So if you have your knowledge done, focus on your speed and improve your speed. This is usually done by practicing very fast and finding better methods to solve. When it comes to practice, you're looking at ebooks, you're looking at different places to solve, and you're looking at better methods to solve, looking at better courses, or either you are thinking about it yourself about how can I do it faster, better calculations, better methods to solve. And to make that easier for you, we at the Top Percentile have come up with a course. It's on our website, toppercentile.co.in. So I'll send that in the chat first because it's easy to type. Just give me a sec. But in case you guys are interested in the course and in anything related to CET, this is definitely going to help. We have a lot of students already and we are providing mentoring sessions as of now, but we do plan to shut it soon. So if you're interested in mentoring, please head on to our website and make the purchase. We are here to help you guys. We'll be putting a lot of feedback soon. We've been asking our students, in fact, I've been asking our students for feedback and I've got a lot of good feedback and a lot of constructive improvement method as well. So we'll be applying that. And a lot of it has been about mentoring. Like I think one thing that has been common, it has either been no areas of improvement, or it's been love the mentoring, want more of group mentoring sessions. So that's what we'll be doing soon. So group mentoring is something that's going to constantly continue throughout the sessions. And in fact, we'll be able to share a lot more about our journeys, our particular knowledge bases on our live mentoring sessions. So if you're interested in that, please join our course. It'll help you in CET and it'll definitely help you in your MBA as well. One more thing I want to add, last year we had 13 students in JB, and with the 13 of them, we had a separate session before they joined JB, and we kind of mentored them on how it is once you enter JB. So we had a couple of friends in that. We knew them really nicely after they taken CET, before they took CET as well. And we kind of mentored them how JB is after they've got through JB, because people usually see JB as a first goal and the end goal as well, but that's not how it is. There's a huge goal after that. And after you're done with the placements, there are more goals after that. So you always need mentors. So instead of having people having us for just CET mentoring, we are usually people who you can reach out to later on as well. If you've reached out to me on LinkedIn ever, I've most probably answered your question. So, or Telegram as well. I think I've usually answered all questions. So just feel free to, the mentoring sessions help a lot. So in case you're interested, please head on to our website and make the purchase. We're always here to help. I'll just search for Pramendra's, just give me a sec, Pramendra's YouTube video. I mean, you can just, all I've searched is Pramendra Jha TTP and is the first link that has come up. But just to make it easier for you guys, I'm just sending it in the chat. It is 100% great to watch this. And hi Shubham, hi Deora. Deora is here. Deora is the one that mentioned about who had CFA L2, and it's helped him a lot. And he knows finance really nicely, and he used to ask questions in class and do really well. He was also like really close friend, and it's great hanging out with him and partying with him as well. So we have a huge list of people who are finance, IB, great to party with, and great people in JBIMS, CFA, and no finance. So the list goes on. JB, as you know, is a great place to be for finance as well. So I've sent Pramendra Jha's link on the chat, in the chat. Shubham, look him up on LinkedIn. His name is right there. You just have to go to LinkedIn, search Shubham Deora JBIMS, and you'll find out who he is. Check out his thing as well. And in fact, he's done computer science as well. Now he's come completely into finance. So any questions that you have, just feel free to drop them. He'll also be able to help a lot. In fact, his interview is there on our channel as well, and Ankit has asked him about CFA as well in that. So feel free. So we've already done a lot of this work, right? We already put out a lot of content related to finance, tech, consulting. So we keep referring old content, but we'll be making more as well. We know how to frame things better and who to call now better. So we'll be helping better this way. But yeah, feel free to ask any questions. You're all here to help. Just going through a little more. Just give me a sec. Yeah. Himanshu, thanks. Nice to know. Arpit, which mocks have I taken? I had taken IMS, Time, Test Funda, IMS, Time, CET King, and Patrick Sir's mocks. Out of these, I usually recommend IMS and Time because IMS is a gold standard for these things. But another gold standard that I found recently and who we partnered with because they are good is Test Funda. So my usual recommendation is IMS, Time, Test Funda. And if you want, then Patrick Sir's mocks are great. These are usually the 4 recommendations that I give to students whenever they ask. The other ones, I mean, you want to stick to the main names and ones that toppers have taken. And this is what we've noticed that toppers take. So stick to these, you'll be sorted. You can keep taking for variety. I've taken 63 mocks. Last year, Aditya Prabhu had taken 100 mocks. Harsha had taken 20 mocks. The golden number is 30 to 40. Find that many mocks from various places and take. That's how I'd suggest. Ratul, how should I study for VARC? I think this is better taken by Ankit. He answers. I think it answered this last time as well. And if he hasn't, then just search for VARC on our channel. You'll find all videos related to it. Just watch those. Those are much better than what I can do because I was frankly not great at VARC when it came to exams. I can speak, but I can't. For some reason, I don't get as good marks in the same amount of time that others would. So that's the idea here. Will FRM help in building a career in finance? Now, this is a really good question. FRM versus CFA, that's what I'll take it as. So I read a really nice analogy about this. CFA is like a 1 meter wide puddle, but it's 1 kilometer deep. while FRM is like a 1 kilometer deep puddle, which is 1 meter wide, right? So FRM takes you in the depth of financial risk, like mainly about risk modeling and about risk metrics and what you use over there. While CFA is about everything. CFA, you'll cover financial statements, you'll cover equity, you'll cover corporate finance, you'll cover derivatives, you'll cover fixed income, you'll cover ethics, you'll cover so many things. There are 10 subjects that you cover in CFA, and everything is done in a very nice way. So what happens in the CFA syllabus and why I keep recommending CFA, even to study, even if you don't take the exam and you just study for a knowledge base, is because you are completely done with a huge band of things. Then irrespective of where you get placed, you can use it. Let's say you get placed in IB, you can use valuation. Let's say you go in a credit role, you can use fixed income and valuation both at the same time. If you're in corporate finance, you'll be using corporate finance. If you're in equity, you'll use the equity syllabus. And the idea here is that when it comes to FRM, you are doing more things related to credit. You are focused more on risk modeling. You'll be doing a lot of statistics. You'll be doing a lot of risk modeling and things like that. And while that is a great field, there's a great scope. While that is honestly very intriguing to me as well about how people do it and why it's useful. Just keep in mind that it's not going to be as general as a CFA would. So it will help, but this is how I would put the difference between this. Himanshu, can a BBA student secure a job in top investment banks like JP Morgan? Yes, definitely. It's not about your CV only. It's also about the knowledge you bring and how you study. It's not just that one thing, right? So need to consider a lot more things. You definitely can. Whose example can I give? Warren, in fact, is, I think, no, Warren is a BCom, MCom. There's another guy. I'll actually think if I can find any example for BBA, but it's not limited to this. It's not, I mean, if an engineer can do it, why can't you? Let's just think of that. Engineering, we've done completely different things from what you do in MBA finance. It's not limited to that. Don't worry about it, right? Going through a couple more questions. How do you get the proper knowledge about finance? I'll be making a separate video on this. And we had actually done this a couple of months ago as well. We had focused on what you need for interviews as well. But when it comes to finance, first thing, as I mentioned right now, CFA syllabus. Take the books, just get them from wherever you can. There are lots of places you can get it. Just get it, study it. Even if you just read through it, it'll help you understand a lot more. I think that's the best place to study anything in finance. And Shubham, if you're watching this, if you're watching this, if you want to add any other things, I think he'll also mention CFA L1, L2 for this, and it's the best place to do it. It's formal and it's very well done. Apart from this, there are certifications, but those certifications don't go like a certification will be 1 meter depth, 1 meter width as well. That's how a certification is. Like if I have to connect that to the analogy. In fact, now that I've said this, I'm going to use this every time whenever someone asks me for finance tips, this is what I'm going to say. This is the analogy I'll use, but that's how it works. How did I prepare for CFA? I already answered this. I did not take classes for CFA. I did myself. In my LinkedIn, Dave Sankar LinkedIn profile, I've done finance related projects from 2017 to 2021. Yes, but this was when I started in 2017. I was literally going to broker houses and asking them for any kind of help that they can give to me. It wasn't anything in finance. It was just give me the information that you have. It was just a desire to learn knowledge, to get knowledge, and that's how I used to do it. It has helped me a lot to delve into depths. So the idea here, if you do CFA, I think that sorts everything out for any kind of internship that you'd want. And how to find internships would be either going through friends or any kind of family person who you can go through. That helps a lot. It doesn't have to be a big name. Your project matters a lot more than what the name that you do, because it's very difficult to get a Kotak Mahindra Bank or a JP Morgan directly on your CV when you don't have any college that is doing it, right? And I didn't either. So for that, just go anywhere. It doesn't matter. Just make sure that you have some information for information on this. Just get the information out. Anything that you can do in an internship, any project that you can do, live project, anything else. There are lots of, I think FinShiksha had a couple of things that they were taking interns and they were doing live projects as well. So check FinShiksha out. A couple of students at JB have done this. Like a couple of my classmates at JB have done this. So check that out. And again, the best method to know where to check all of this, look up people on LinkedIn. You found this out from my LinkedIn, right? Look up others on LinkedIn. See Shubham's profile. See people in Bangalore. See Warren's profile. see others at IIM Ahmedabad, Calcutta, etc. See their profiles, see what they've done in their life, see how they've grown over time, see what you can learn from there. And that's helped me a lot. In fact, if you guys want, I can make a video on how to use LinkedIn better. That I'm also learning myself, so I can't really say that I'm the best. And that, but I can help you guys a little bit there. So if you want things, in fact, rather than leave it in the live chat, please drop comments because I'll be able to see these for a longer period of time. So any video ideas, please drop the comment below the video. That's a lot easier than in the live chat. I might miss it here. That's the only thing. Just going through things. How about my 2 years in JB? Great. We'll make a separate video on this, which Harsh has already recorded, in fact. So stay tuned to that. It was a really good time. I mean, we had the best time also because of TTP, right? We had an outlet for everything that we wanted to do, any kind of creative ideas that we had. And we had a way to give back to the people who helped us and pass it on. We had a lot of mentors. That's honestly the only reason we are providing mentoring, because we had mentors who helped us here. When we thought of TTP, we realized that mentoring is something that has to go hand in hand. That was how it worked. And yeah, honestly, TTP is probably one of the best things that's happened in JB with this, because we've learned so much while doing our own business and how to run it, how to work with others, how to work along with deadlines, and how to do this. And I think one of these days, all 6 of us will try to go live, and you can ask us this question again, how our 2 years at JB was, and it'd be a good trip for us as well to go through this entire time. Just going through this, Karthik taking CFA L1, and CET is happening in August. It is a little challenging because it'd be difficult to do, but the thing about CET and CFA is that you don't need last minute prep, right? You cannot do last minute prep for either. By July, you should know where you stand in CET. By July, you should know where you stand in CFA. Keep that aim. Your August will be very sorted. That's the best tip I can give to you. Don't think of both of them being in August. Think of them being in July. For me, I'll tell you what my thing was. I was interning from April to June. July first week was my JB first semester exams. July third week was CFA. So I had back-to-back everything, constantly back-to-back things. And I was able to ace all of it. So it was just about motivation and putting in the hard work that is there. I'm not trying to flex it. It's just putting in the effort that I'm trying to showcase that you can do it. CET is obviously a lot tougher than college exams because it's a competitive exam where your life depends on it, while this is just a semester exam in comparison. But when it comes to this, you have to keep in mind that people do it, you can do it. Just keep that in mind, right? If any other questions, please keep dropping them in the chats. I'm here to help. JBIMS MHRD ka kuch idea hai? You've got a call from it. I don't know much about MHRD, and there were a couple of questions that I'd answered as well. There are a couple of comments that I'd answered about MHRD, and while you have the JV brand name, more information would be given to you by someone who has done the course. I do know that the professors that teach us HR, like the HR subjects, teach you guys in MHRD, and they are great professors. Like, we have enjoyed those sessions a lot. There's a professor named Dr. Dur Khan, and there's Hirnak Mazumdar, Professor Hirnak Mazumdar, and I used to have a great time with Hirnak sir. And a friend of ours, Asrar, used to have great conversations with Dur ma'am, and it's just like these lectures were something that help a lot in focusing on how companies work, how you should be in an organization, how these new things affect you. We had a great time in those sessions. It was a lot of learning, and those are sessions we used to specifically attend for these conversations. So Asrar, I doubt he'll be in this chat. He's already started working, and he's got a great job in Asian Paints, and this is public information. It's on his LinkedIn, so you can go check it out. But yeah, for the guys who want to do marketing, Asian Paints, he's directly taken him. So great stuff that he's done. Is CS degree helpful for an MBA? Company secretary, I'm not sure how much it would help. It will be an added thing, but not sure how helpful it would be. For an MBA, sure. For finance, I'm not sure. Again, just think of it as knowledge versus this. I'll have to check company secretary part of it. I'll go through it a little bit and check. BCom student, nothing special in my CV. Can I go for finance? Yes. I've already explained what roles are there in finance. So if you haven't heard it, please go to the start of this video. I started off with what the different types of roles are in finance. I'll make a separate video on this also, so it's more compact rather than a 49-minute video so far. So I'll make a separate video. But when it comes to BCom, you definitely can do it. I mean, Warren's a BCom, MCom, and he's got Blackstone, guys. So just go on LinkedIn and see what people do. Just see what people do. You'll be surprised how, if supposing they want to do it, people do a lot of things. So keep that in mind. Prathamesh, interested in consulting, want to go for operations, can you suggest courses, certifications? Harsh, Aditya, Shreekanth, and Ankit also. There'll be much better guides here, especially Harsh. So consulting related things, please contact Harsh. When he's live, ask him this question. We are going to be live often. If you've seen our track record so far, we have been answering. So we've been live pretty frequently. So we will be back here. So please come back to this and ask when Harsh is here, right? Just going through a couple more questions. Which course should we try along with CET? You can do an MBA. You can try to do you can try to do a CFA. You can also try to do Coursera courses, but just remember CFA internship, Coursera courses. Honestly, CFA internship sometimes based on where you've interned and how much technical stuff you've done in the internship, both can be at par. So it'll be CFA internship, certifications on Coursera. And NISM will be somewhere above that. FinShiksha, NISM, these things will be still above it because they take proper tests and they teach you things better than normal. So that's how you would do courses. But again, this same thing will be what your time commitment is, like just the opposite of it. Time commitment would be most in internships and everything, and you'll have more time to study for CET in the certifications on Coursera. Thank you for answering questions. Don't worry about it. That's what I'm here to do. Thank you guys for asking questions. That sets the tone for what I am doing. Thank you guys for being here also. Like, I really appreciate an audience because I love talking clearly. But that's why, just if you have any questions, and even after this live video ends, please keep dropping these questions in the comments. I am the one who responds to your comments. I keep checking every day, or rather every couple of hours, in fact, if there's a new comment that has been posted. So if you have any questions related to anything that we've done, like just anything random also you want to ask about CET and you don't know where to reach out to us, the comment section is always open for you. So please just drop a comment, we'll answer it. As long as it's not a very personal question and something that we can't really answer, we will be answering these questions. How did I figure out my interest in finance? So firstly, my dad introduced me to Warren Buffett and a lot of Charlie Munger, a lot of these things. And I started reading about them. I started reading about how they go about things, the stock market, etc. Kept reading more about things on blogs. Zerodha Varsity was something that I used. I understood financial statements over there. There were a couple of professors in a lot of other colleges who I looked up to. I watched their YouTube videos. I kept there was this bug inside me that kept making me want to understand finance better, understand concepts better, understand things much more nicely than I would otherwise. So I kept going into the depth of it, and I kept answering, more questions and satisfying my curiosity for that. That's what helped a lot. Apart from that, the internships that I did, like that led on to the internships. The internships led on to an MBA finance. It was like that. When I was doing these internships while I was doing engineering, that's how it was. The funny thing about this is that when I did my finance and when I was doing my engineering I was doing finance internships. When I was doing finance, MBA finance, I was doing a pure finance internship. But after doing finance, I wanted to go back to tech and merge finance and tech. Again, a topic for a completely different video, completely different live with a different audience here. I already mentioned the people who I'll be asking these questions to, but they'll give a lot more clarity on this. It's crazy what tech and finance is doing in the world so far. And when I say this, I'm not only talking about crypto and blockchain in its entirety. One of my closest friends, Shlok, is working in a crypto VC. He's working in this thing known as IndieGG. It's a gaming guild for venture capital crypto firms, and it's crazy what he's up to as well. He's from Accelera and he's doing this. He's number 3 in a startup, so he's doing really great. Lots of people to get onto this channel, but the only reason I would do it is if you guys show some interest in these things, because I don't want to get them here and then not have a good show. If it doesn't make sense to get them here, I wouldn't want them there. So I'm glad that you guys are at least asking questions right now and answering things. But any things that you just please, the best place to request videos will be the YouTube comments. Please put it there. I'll get the people on. That's it. Like, me requesting and spreading in knowledge is the easiest, like for all of us, for each and every one of us. We are here to spread knowledge. So anything that we can do to help is great. Just tell us what you want. That helps a lot more. I've seen a question about my CAT score. I don't know where it went. Sanket, I think Sanket had asked if I'd scored 19.86 in CAT, why did I not go to IIMs? So when it comes to why I didn't take IIMs, and again, I've answered this in my CAT videos. If you're preparing for CAT, please watch the videos I made for CAT. It's a great source for this. I'll be making a LinkedIn post soon as well about this because a lot of you guys have been asking how to prepare for CAT. If you've not seen it, there's a playlist on our YouTube channel. Just click on playlist CAT, watch the 4 videos. I've put everything that I did for CAT over there, and I've explained my entire journey through CAT as well. But I took CET 2020 in March. I had not taken CAT 19, so I was not eligible for CAT for any IIMs in 2022 batch, which I am for JB, right? I'm JB 22 batch. I took CET 2022, like CET 2020. CET 2020, did not take CAT 2019 before that. Directly took this, got 99.99. Then after that, since CET was delayed, I decided let's take CAT. What's there to lose? Decided to study for CAT. I've studied for probably 1 month. I think September was the month where I genuinely studied and took 20 mocks in that period of time. Used a lot of IMS content, only IMS mocks, mentoring from IMS. I knew Prasad sir, Shashank sir, Scrabbler, if you've heard of him, Jose sir. A lot of them. I used a lot of their blogs. I have credited all of them in the video. But I used a lot of that. I got a 99.86. The only colleges that I would leave JB for, like the only college rather, that I would leave JBIMS for would be IIM Calcutta. But I unfortunately did not get a call from Calcutta. I did not get a call because I had a lower score in 12th. So I have a 78% in 12th. If I had an 80% in 12th, or if I had scored a 99.91, I would have got a call from Calcutta, and then maybe things would have been different. But I converted XLRI, I converted FMS, and I did not apply to any other IIMs. I only applied to ABC, not in Lucknow, not in Indore, nothing. It was only ABC for me. And out of ABC, it was only Calcutta. So I made that decision before I filled the CAT form that will only be ABC. So obviously didn't get any other calls because I didn't apply to them. And I converted Excel FMS, but by that time I was already interning in JP Morgan, and I spoke to a lot of people in JP Morgan. I asked them that if I go there and do an MBA, would I get a substantial edge over where I am currently? They said, no, you're already in JP Morgan, and everything after this will be based on the work you do in JP Morgan, nothing related to what your previous life is. And that gave me the confidence. Like I spoke to HRs, I spoke to vice presidents, I spoke to managing directors, I spoke to EDs, executive directors. I spoke to a huge number of people in those 8 weeks about what should I be doing here. I spoke to people in Excel, I spoke to people in JBIMS who have seniors in JB, seniors at Excel, everyone. And everyone was of this opinion that it doesn't make sense to spend extra money and do it. If it was Calcutta, maybe I would have made a different decision because I had JP Morgan on my CV, but Calcutta still has a huge amount of competition, right? I would not stand out there, even with JP Morgan on my CV, because you have people with IIT Bombay, IIT Kharagpur, they be from there, IIT Delhi, these guys who come there, they do CFA L3 and then come to IIM Calcutta. So how can you really compete against them? And from the IITs also, they have top jobs there. So when you're seeing ABC, you are seeing the top people who are there. And that competing against them for, again, a top job, as I mentioned, Warren, Blackstone, one person who's got the offer. And he's done great. Like he deserves it. He's put in the effort and he's got it. So being that person when there is lesser competition is a lot easier than when there is a lot more competition. And at JB, one thing that helps you a lot is that if you have a good amount of knowledge, you can go ahead much easily compared to these bigger places, compared to the top ABCs. So that's my answer for why not IIMs and why JBIMS. Just going through more things. It's almost to the 1 hour mark. It's good that you guys have questions. This feels nice. I'll answer more questions. It's good that you guys are here and answering these. Yeah, it's nice. Just let me see more things. Sanket, I've been working in a tech role in a bulge bracket bank for 2 years. Will this affect my chance of getting in a finance role? My CAD's a 998. Not at all. This is great, right? This is a good thing. How would this be a bad thing? Like you have a bulge bracket bank, and that's where you want to be. Even after this, even if it's a tech role, it's okay. Shubham Deora was in BNP, in fact, BNP Paribas, and even though I'm not sure if they are a bulge bracket, but it's a renowned bank. It's a great place to be. So he was over there, and he's done great in what he is. Stay tuned to where he's placed. To his LinkedIn to see where he's placed, and it's pretty exciting where he is. So it would not make a difference. And 998 is great. So that also, I mean, this is more reason to do good. You shouldn't doubt yourself here. Yeah, please hit the like button. Thank you, Vidhan. I just saw a message about this. Please hit the like button and hit subscribe. We have a lot more content coming out. And I hope you guys have enjoyed the session. The only way I can come to know if you enjoyed it or not is if you leave comments. Please don't leave it in the live chat. Please, I won't be able to read later. When I want the validation, I'll be seeing the comments in the video. So please leave it in the comment section down below. But please leave likes. It helps us, motivates us to do more. And it generally motivates us to see things here. Shah, do feel, my gosh, just looking at you talk inspired me so much. I deserve to be people around you. And I mean, see, you are the average of the people you hang out with the most. And at JBIMS, we do have a great crowd and it has helped a lot. Plus, I got to hang out with a lot of people at XLRI and I'm Bangalore. So it helped a lot, grow. It helps a lot to grow. Plus, even in my undergrad, the friends I mentioned, Shlok, Vibhor, Lastika, Palak, these guys were great people to be around. And we all wanted to do wonderful, like we wanted to keep doing things more and more. We wanted to go into more things. And all of us, touch wood, are doing pretty we've constantly been motivating each other and doing better. So yeah, just make sure that you are around the best people. And in case you're someone who doesn't have access to this, we are here for you. We are live here. You can talk to us. Just go for it. In fact, during our mentoring, lots of people have asked me about CFA, so I guide them there as well during our TTP-related mentoring sessions. And if you're interested in that again, the percentile.co.in, just go to our website, go for it. Always here to help. Aishwarya, if I want to get into general management or consulting, should you go for finance or marketing? It depends on you. I would suggest going for finance just because what you learn in finance is something that is very core. Like, again, this is a very subjective thing. I like finance, so I feel like that's what everyone should be doing. So let Vidhan or Shreekanth be here. We'll answer this much better once they are there. Let them answer what they think it should be. So I would not want to say this, but I myself think finance is a great field to be in. Like, again, completely biased because I'm doing it. So nothing that my sister is MBA marketing. So from JBIMS itself, and she's in PepsiCo enjoying it over there. Nothing to snide anybody who's doing MBA marketing. I'm just saying what my preference would be there. Khadir, better to do a CFA now or MBA? Do both. I've done my CFA with an MBA. So it doesn't matter. If you do a CFA, then an MBA, it'll be on your CV. If you do CFA and an MBA, when you do your summers, it won't be on your CV. So it doesn't matter. But I would still say that a good MBA college is much better than a CFA at a lower tier college. And the CFA would help you stand out there as well. You have to look at the pool of talent that it's drawing, right? If the job is drawing people, if the profiles that are coming are much better at JBIMS compared to compared to a lower tier firm, being a CFA at JB is going to be a lot better because you'll be the top cream for those roles versus a CFA at a lower time. So just make sure that you are getting a good MBA college. If with that you're able to do a CFA, perfect. That's the idea here. Do a CAS matter in investment banking? To an extent, but you can make up for it in other things as well. Like it's not only that. Aishwarya Pratap, just give me a sec. Yeah, it's a long question. Is working in a fintech customer support company, appeared from CMAT, good chance of Wellinger, want to join JB. Should I join Wellinger to appear for CET? Sure, you can do that. The only thing that I'd say is don't see whether it's wasting your fees at Wellinger. Like every college will have a different aspect because you are taking a seat of theirs, right? You'll be taking a Wellinger seat. And if you're willing to spend the money, if supposing it's only a lakh or two and you're fine, if you have like more amount of money, then it's fine. In case, like for example, lots of people have reached out to me recently because August CET got postponed, right? So lot of you have this thing, but what you'll be considering is how much better is JB compared to where you are. What type of profiles are there right now? What type of profiles can you get later? What type of profiles do you want to have? And things like how much fees will you be forfeiting? Because you'll be having to pay 2 years fees. Usually it's a 2-year fees. Just check what it is there. Should you get a job? Want to get into consulting or general management? For these things, I would not know what exactly you would need, Harsh would be able to guide you better here. And while I can answer your question, I would say that since you're looking for genuine advice, I would say that let Harsh answer this. Harsh or Ankit, Aditya, Shreekanth, they'll answer this a lot better than I could. So it's just waiting for the next live. They'll do this. So stay tuned to our channel. I'm not saying this so that you are hooked to our channel. I hope you are, but that's because of the content we give rather than trying to hook you. I'm just saying that they'll help you out a lot better. So it's a genuine thing to just let them answer. Rahul, safe mock score in test funda mocks. Current is 124 without flukes. Good score for now. 125 is a great score. I think you should go to 140 without flukes. I didn't take test funda, but in IMS I used to score around 120, 130 without flukes. Like I've never taken flukes. And I've got a couple of these questions recently, whether I am D Dave in IMS mocks. My name was D Dave. I purposely kept it D Dave, so no one knows who I didn't want to tell people who I was before I got into JB. So I am D Dave. But so I had, like, if you've seen my name in IMS mocks, that was me. But when it comes to safe scores, do not look at a safe score. Try to top mocks. That's your idea here. So civil and mechanical engineers should generally prefer with specialization. Doesn't matter. Shreekanth is a civil engineer. Vidhan has done mechanical. I've done computer science. Harsh has done computer science. Deora's computer science. Ankit has done chemical engineering. It just flattens out. Four of us have done finance. Two of us have done marketing. None of us thought about what our syllabus, what our specialization in engineering was before we decided to do an MBA. It was just doing what we needed to do. Kind of worst profile can get placed in JB. Everyone gets placed in JB. It's a fact. Everyone who wants a job gets a job. That's how it works. We don't force, like the PCOM and JB is really good. Like they're all our friends. We know them really nicely. It's a great culture that you have in JB. They don't kick you out. They don't get angry. I mean, if you do something stupid, they will get angry. They're very strict. There's a difference between being strict and being rude. They are strict. They've done a great job this year, but they are not rude. They won't abuse or they won't do these things that help you get the best job. That's their aim, and they've done that very selflessly this year. So kudos to the entire PCOM team. But when it comes to, and they also won't force a bad profile. So they won't say that, oh, you have a bad profile, you are out of JB. Like we won't give you a place to go. Everybody who wants a job gets a job. That's what matters. You can get it. How to make a profile? We'll make certain videos on this. In fact, Harsh has made a few videos on how to improve your CV. We'll be there on Instagram. So if you've not followed on Instagram, it's instagram.com/the top percentile. I'll put this in the chat. Please follow us there. We are making a lot of reels and we have a lot of videos about JBIMS, in fact, we are making a lot more videos about other things apart from JBIMS, because we think that this is the time where you can focus on growing a lot more things, as I mentioned earlier. And these are the things you have to do. Harsh is doing a great job. Please follow us on Instagram. You get a lot of information there. And Harsh has made a video on how to do this. Sorry, Vidhan has just corrected me. He's done electrical engineering. I had a feeling I said it wrong when I said it. I'm thinking he's done electrical, but Vidhan has done that. So sorry, Vidhan. But again, he did not think about this at all when he thought about which line to take. So keep that one thing in mind, right? Vidhan, if you're watching this, please support me in the chat and say that we did not consider this too much. Just going through a few more questions. I think I'll end it in a couple of minutes, guys. My dinner is actually left. I haven't eaten. I haven't had food so far. I'm very hungry. So I'll end it in a while. We'll be here again. The only reason we do this is because we want to selflessly help you guys. And it's not we do these lives. We have no ads on our YouTube channel. We have nothing. No revenue to gain from YouTube. So just ask questions. We're here to help you. Again, my request would be follow us on Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our videos, and please comment things so that we know you like our content. Even if you don't like our content, please put it in comments. If you have suggestions for future videos and how we can improve our videos, editing, anything at all, please drop in comments. We don't take it badly. It's only constructive criticism for us. So please just put comments. We want to communicate with you guys. Because once our job starts, once all these things happen, there'll be a wider divide between what we make on YouTube and what you would need to bridge that gap, which we are going to. That's why I keep asking our students for feedback. I keep trying to reach out to them and asking them, please tell us how to improve. We only do this, and I'm only saying this entire monologue and speech right now again, only to ask you for feedback. Please drop in comments. Say that you're enjoying it. Say that if it's not good, say it's not good. If you're enjoying it, give us comments that say that it's good. We need this. It helps us put it in the right direction. Humans work on validation. Humans are social animals who need this kind of thing to be motivated. So just please feel free to do it, right? Yeah, so that's that's Vidhan's comment saying didn't consider from the top percentile. So that's what we did not really care about which engineering field we've done. Dhruv Weldy is here. Weldy and I actually had a great time recently at a gig. And he's one of Shreekanth's friends also, and he's a TTP student. So nice to see you, Dhruv. Just any kind of certifications, I kind of have answered this, Dhruv. So please go back to that, sorry. And if you have any questions, Dhruv, please text me. This is not the place for you. Students can always reach out. But he's a student and a friend, so please feel free to reach out whenever needed. Got internship from Rebel Food. Should I stay focused on CET preparation? Can country scoring 125? See, the thing is, even if you got an internship from JP Morgan or any kind of, doesn't matter where you got an internship, if you get an MBA college and you convert that into a 2-year degree and then the placements after that, it's a big jump compared to what you can from an undergrad degree. So even if you're getting 125 marks, make sure you're getting 140, make sure you're topping marks, make sure you're getting 150 marks. Why stop at 140? If you can get a 150, get a 150, be the topper. Don't satisfy yourself with the 125, go for higher. And I only say this because this is what helped me. As I mentioned, from Jan, my prep was done for CET. Jan to March was only aiming for the sky and trying to see what I can do more, not using paper and seeing how much I can score in mocks, trying to use as less paper as I can, because in CET, you don't get as much paper as you get in CAT. That motivation is always there, but that's what I'm saying. Don't get stuck don't limit yourself to a 125. Don't say it's a safe score. Safe score is the day of the final exam getting a 150. That's your safe score, not any score in mocks. So just go as fast as you can and as much as you can. That's the main idea here. Just going through a few more questions. I just saw Yash out here. Yash out is one of my closest friends since, we've been friends since I played table tennis. We've played for our undergrad college together, and he's also in fact doing great in computer science now. So you can have him on the channel if you want anything related to pure computer science and what he's doing there. He's in UK currently studying there, and he's the most wonderful guy. So nice to see you, Yash. One of the sweetest guys I know, genuinely, undergrad, he was just, class used to be fun when he's there. If he's not in class, he used to get so bored. One of the funniest and sweetest guys. अनिकेत, मेरा 2021 में ग्रेजुएशन कंप्लीट हो गया. अगर इसमें मुझे कोई डिसेंट कॉलेज नहीं मिलता है तो मुझे ड्रॉप लेना चाहिए, एवरेज कॉलेज. Again, you have to consider what the effect of a drop would be, because people take drops. Warren had a drop, Ankit had a drop, a couple of people in JP had a 3-year drop, and that didn't affect where they got placed in the finals, as long as you have an answer for it. So keep that one thing in mind. If you are in a better college, it's a 2-year degree which you carry on for life. Whenever you meet someone, you say that you're an MBA from JBIMS or an MBA from a top college. That has a lot more weightage than where you work also, honestly. Because where your MBA is decides where what profile you're getting. If you do a BCom, if you are placed in JP Morgan or Barclays, your salary scale, your hikes, the way you go forward, everything matters. It's a very different scale from what you would be after an MBA, right? I recently met an old friend at one of our JB friends' birthday parties, and he was talking about how he's in KPMG and he can't get a raise because he doesn't have a master's degree, and that's where you'll get limited. And many times they'll say master's degree from a top MBA college, right? They might say MBA from a top college. Then where will you go? Then you'll regret not spending that 1 year and getting JB. But when you're thinking about converting JB and other things, think about where you are right now. If you're getting 140 marks in the final day, you get 140 and you get lesser marks and you don't get through JB, then you 100% have to go for a better college and get it next year. It's fine if it takes a year more. It's crazy how these things affect you in the long term, but that confidence matters a lot. So I think that matters a lot more, right? Just going through a few more things. Guys, I'll end it in a bit. I'm getting really hungry. It's already 12:35. Did you notice the time? passing so fast. Again, it's been a lot of fun, and I've enjoyed as I've enjoyed these questions. It's been fun. So thank you guys for answering these questions. Harsh, no, JBIMS doesn't see 10th and 12th. They only see your CET score as of now. So that's your advantage in JB. They don't care about anything else. Mandar, any certificate for marketing? Vidhan and Shreekanth will answer this better. They'll have a separate live, separate YouTube videos for this. They in fact already made these. So if you want an immediate answer, search for marketing on our channel. You'll find it. In case you don't find it, just wait for it. We'll be making things on this. Amit Rajput, it's really interesting doing tech and finance. It's one of the most interesting things ever. Like it's one of the coolest things, honestly. And the people doing it are at the cutting edge of technology, and they are. It's crazy what they do. And if you've seen JP Morgan also, lots of times Jamie Dimon, the CEO, the #1 person at JP Morgan, has spoken about how JP Morgan is a company, it's a tech company which is in the finance domain, because we are ramping up like crazy. Every desk has an AI setup. We are hiring from the top engineering colleges, and these are huge packages. These are the best packages at the colleges. And again, go through these things on LinkedIn, you'll find a lot more things. Is it possible to get in consulting from HR? Again, consulting questions I'd suggest Akshay, I'll suggest Harsh answering. It would be possible. It's possible from anywhere. Consulting is a very general field. I know in UBC, because of Lustica, I know that in UBC, consulting can be taken from any field. You can be there's a colleague of hers in UBC who was studying geology. He was a PhD in geology, and he was going for consulting to, I think, he got a couple of calls from BCG, Bain McKinsey, and all these firms, and KPMG, etc. So it's a pretty open field in consulting, but in India, it's different from how it works in Canada and the United States. So keep that one thing in mind. Again, I just want to reiterate, our idea at the top percentile is not only CET focused. We have in CET focused, but we want to take it further. So any suggestions that you have on other content that we have to add, please ask. Like if you notice right now, I've mentioned so many people that I have in so many different walks of life, and they've come here on the live as well. Like they've come for the live, they'll come for interviews. They'll be, in fact, more than happy to help for the interviews. These are close friends that all of us have. So if you have any things that you want, please feel free to comment these things on TTP. We are going to enjoy this. We enjoy making these videos. That's why we do it, right? So just keep that in mind. I'll just go through a couple of more questions, but I'll end in 5 minutes, guys. Check this video by JBIMS grad Amit Hawk. It's great. I'll check it out. I actually haven't seen it. I don't know about it. I'll definitely check it out. I think a couple of, if it's JBIMS, usually TTP has watched it. Like someone in TTP would have seen it, so I'll check. Hamad, what time do I sleep? I sleep pretty late. I usually sleep at 3, 4. This is my usual time that I sleep. I wake up later. And my internship in JP Morgan was with the North American team. So I was working something like 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. back then. This was during the training period. After that, it became 12 to 2, like 12 p.m. to 2 a.m. But I used to work pretty late. But again, I used to do it not because I am a corporate slave. It's because I used to love it. It's because I used to enjoy working in these things, and I used to enjoy putting these efforts. And I had the people who would be, guiding me through this. As I mentioned, my boss, my mentor, Zach, and the buddies that I had there. Each and every person that I was talking to, we had a great experience. I would stay up just because I wouldn't want to miss conversations with them. And we would spend 3, 4 hours on Zoom calls just talking about things and discussing finance, what's going on in the world, how these things matter, etc. When will I post upcoming videos? The thing is, we have recorded around 20 videos so far, but we are planning to record more and then putting all of them in a sequential form. So Harsh has done a lot of the groundwork. We'll be doing a lot more of it over the next few days. Just expect regular videos, because I'm telling you, we already have, I think 7 videos that are slotted to go, scheduled, and they are going over the next 2, 3 weeks. So just stay tuned to our channel. We'll keep seeing these things. Lives are every 2 to 3 days. Sometimes max to max it'll be 4 to 5 days, but we love doing this. Like clearly, I have spent an hour 20 minutes so far, and I don't want to really stop. You guys keep asking, I'll keep answering, but I will end it soon. But the point is, you can just keep, asking these questions. Lakhan, how are people with past average academics faring at JBIMS? Ramendra Jha, watch his video. He had failed 11th standard. He got 50%, I think, in 11th or 12th. I'm not sure on the exact number. Watch his video. See his LinkedIn profile. You know everything about how he's fared through JB. And in fact, if you want, we'll call him for a live. He's one of the sweetest guys in JB. We'll call him for a live. You can ask him this question, how he's loved it and how it is. Bhushan, any finance book which I can read? You can start off with Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's personal finance related. That's a good book. For core finance, again, see, Rich Dad Poor Dad is a very general finance thing. Psychology of money is also very general finance, but it'll get you into what investing is, into why you need to invest, into how you should be looking at money. You should be thinking about these things. What are the books? For more technical things, there is The Intelligent Investor, there is Security Analysis. These are very technical books. Rather than books such as YouTube channels, you'll find a lot of YouTube videos on these things. There's a channel known as The Plain Bagel. There is Patrick Boyle. There is Economics Explained. These are directly from the top of my head. There are newsletters that you can subscribe to. FinShots is something you should definitely be reading. FinShots is the best suggestion that I have for you. Simple English, very well explained, very short to read, won't hamper your preparation. FinShots is the best answer for this. TDB is like the Avengers of MBA. In fact, the first video that we had posted, and one of the top comments in that video was Avengers Assembled. And we loved that comment. Like that's one of our favorite comments that we've got so far in our entire journey. That one comment is just the best. But yeah, I'll end the live soon. Anay's a god of thunder. Thanks. I mean, like Chris Hemsworth is amazing. Like, you love the guy, great build. I would love to have what he has. It's great. But 14.4 CTC in EY, 14.4 is less than the average at JB. So you'll definitely get, but I don't know about the part-time. Like, I'm not sure about the part-time in JB. I would still suggest asking someone who's done part-time about this, because we have done full-time, right? So that's the only suggestion I have for this. Hi, Vineet. Vineet is another colleague, student, another classmate at JB. And he's the guy who had mentioned beforehand, whose birthday I met other people at, but really, really cool guy. And if anything, he's the one who needs to sleep. His job is already started and he's working really hard. He was working PwC for IB. So if you have questions on PwC IB, we'll call him on the channel, ask him questions. So Vineet, now that you're here, remember that we're going to do this soon. But guys, I'll end the live here. I'll go get food. Just to reiterate, please leave comments, suggestions, feedback, anything you have in the comment section down below. We'd love to hear what you have to share in any comment in any video. You can add this. But it was a great session. It's 1 hour 22 minutes long. I'll end this here. But thank you guys. Thank you for the good comments also, Vidisha and others who have sent really good messages. I really appreciate it. Really appreciated what you said. Really appreciate what you said. And I look forward to more sessions like this and more talks with you guys. But thank you guys. It's 12:44, almost 1 a.m. Have a good night and please sleep nicely. Akash, about the question in sleep, you can ask me this on text. I know who you are. For a TDP student, please, you're my mentee as well. Please ask on text. I'll answer this gladly. But good night, guys. Take care and have a good one. It was really fun doing this. Good night.